Hi, I'm Emily Solomon, and I use she, her pronouns. Pause. Better? Same? More often than not, nowadays, that's how I introduce myself. Let me tell you why. 26 years ago, in the summer of 1997, my husband Jay and I moved from the East Coast to Denver, where we knew exactly 3 people, none of whom were Jewish. Coming from New York, I never had to seek out my Jewish community. It was everywhere. So here was in Denver, feeling a little verklempt. The high holidays were around the corner. Oh, and did I mention my husband Jay? He's not Jewish. I had heard there was a Reform synagogue that welcomed interfaith couples and families. I decided to check it out. I walked into Temple Emanuel and looked around. And just like this morning, the sanctuary was full that evening. And though I did not know a single person that night, I found my Jewish people in Denver. I felt like I belonged at this congregation simply because I saw other families that looked like mine. There were programs for interfaith couples and families and other visible signs around the building and in Temple communications. All of this made our family feel welcome and accepted at Temple Emanuel. It comes down to 2 words: inclusion and belonging. Today, there's another group of Jews whom I want our temple to extend the kind of welcome and acceptance that me and my family received more than 25 years ago. People who are LGBTQ, let me try this again. People who are Jewish and LGBTQ+. For this new year, and for all the new years to come, I want Temple Emanuel and all of us here today, and those at home watching online, to send the message to our LGBTQ members: we see you, we love you, you belong here. Historically, LGBTQ Jews have been largely invisible in American Jewish life. But in 1996, that began to change when a group in Boston started a small grassroots organization called Keshet. Now a national nonprofit with offices across the country, Keshet is the only organization in the US that works for LGBTQ equality in all facets of Jewish life. Synagogues, Hebrew schools, day schools, youth groups, summer camps, JCCs, and social service organizations. By the way, Keshet means rainbow in Hebrew. 7 years ago, I started working at Keshet. I had worked in nonprofits my entire career. At Keshet, I finally found a place that mirrored the Jewish values that I was raised with. Values such as kavod, that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect, and Bezlem Elohim, that each of us is created in God's image. And let me tell you, ever since I began working at Keshet, I wanted to bring Keshet to Temple Emanuel. This morning, we learned about Jonah and how Jonah gets a second chance to follow God's command, and he listens and he obeys. Like so many other congregations across the country, my journey to bring Keshet to Temple Emanuel has had second and third and fourth chances. The first time, it was to see LGBTQ Jewish safe zone stickers displayed around our building here. The second time, the temple clergy signed on to Kavod Akshav, Dignity Now, Keshet's national campaign to support and protect transgender youth. The third time, we went even deeper. In fall 2022, Temple Emanuel became part of Keshet's Denver Shivyon Equality Project, a year-long learning program to support LGBTQ+ equality and belonging for Jewish institutions. Through this partnership with Keshet, Temple Emanuel is creating a community where all LGBTQ Jews can feel seen and valued. This spring, Temple Emanuel invested in a new staff position focusing on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Specifically, Temple staff are being trained in this work so our LGBTQ students feel not only safe, but fully embraced and confident as their full selves in our classrooms. This year, Temple Emanuel co-sponsored the Jewish community's Pride Queer Seder at the JCC, and Cantor Sachs co-officiated Pride Shabbat this past June. Our clergy embrace gender inclusion in B'nai mitzvahs. So here at Temple Emanuel, a young person can stand on this bima and come of age as their full selves, regardless of how they express their gender identity or sexual orientation. In our synagogue, openly, trans, non-binary, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and queer Jewish kids can become Jewish adults without hiding, without shame, with pride, inclusion, and belonging. Cultural and social change does not happen overnight. We know that. But to paraphrase the author Anne Lamott, daunting tasks can be accomplished one step at a time, bird by bird, with perseverance and patience. For instance, something we all can do is to use correct pronouns. If someone was presumed male at birth but identifies as female, we should refer to her by the pronouns she wants to use. Maybe it's she and her. Maybe it's they and them. Using people's correct pronouns is about kavod or respect. Referring to a person by their correct pronouns is an important way to affirm their identity and truly honor them as a person. Temple Emanuel's partnership with Keshet signifies an important next step for me personally and for all of us as members of this sacred Jewish space. We must send the message that in the Jewish community, especially here at Temple Emanuel Denver, our LGBTQ plus members are seen, loved, and cherished. Walking through the doors of this sanctuary with my husband was one of the best decisions I ever made. Our 4 children are graduates of Temple's preschool program, and they all had their B'nai Mitzvah services here. Our youngest son, Aiden, now 14, is a teaching assistant in the religious school. And our oldest daughter, Maddie, was the president of her college Hillel, and today works for the Anti-Defamation League. Oh, and she also lives in a Moishe house, a residential hub for Jewish young adults. My mom once told me that she was okay with me marrying someone not Jewish, but she definitely wanted to have Jewish grandchildren. Thanks to the spirit of inclusion and belonging at Temple Emanuel, she does. Shana Tova, and may you have a meaningful Yom Kippur.